All right, testing. Nice. So, I even sound congested, man. It's bad. No, but what doesn't feel bad is this Bitcoin price. Anyways, what's going on, guys? I hope you're all having a wonderful start or end to your week. We should have some fun here. I got at least an hour. We can chit chat, look at some stuff. And I don't know about you guys, but my feed is quiet. My Twitter feed is quiet for how insane this is. And how insane this is. I mean, is there a 30% pump in one weekly candle on this chart at all? I mean, this might be the biggest single weekly pump I can see on this chart. Maybe this one? Yeah. So we got one. Literally, the only candles that are this big on the chart are from complete bull mania. And even in there, there's only like 3 candles that are this insane. And the volume back then was pretty good, but nothing like we're seeing now. I mean, look at how it just absolutely dwarfs the volume from back then. Very similar to how this rally dwarfed volume from 2018. I mean, this is nuts. Definitely most comparative to this. If we're talking from a sentiment standpoint and a price action standpoint, I mean, this is the same thing as far as my book. I will not be fading this. I will not be shorting this. You can TP on the way up and all that, you know. TP on the way up is fine. Shorting is just so like low EV. Ugh. Disgusting. Anyways, we'll give it a few minutes here, and then we'll do a full top down on BTC. We'll look into some high caps for a few minutes, and then we'll look at the low caps that I've been liking lately, and you know, anything that you guys want to look at too. What's up, G? Welcome. Welcome. All right, let's peruse through the list here. Bone, that doesn't look that great. DYDX, that looks good. Underperforming Bitcoin for now, but I'm sure it's going to play a mean catch-up. WooTrade looks good. Also underperforming Bitcoin a bit, but again, probably great catch-up later this year. Same goes for Ethereum, underperforming Bitcoin massively, but actually, I think we're getting pretty close to a bottom on ETH BTC. Maybe down to mid 5s. I think ETH BTC just bottoms somewhere in here. And then we rally later this year. That kind of goes for most alt pairs in general. Probably underperform continually for a while. And then after the summer, I bet they really start to rip. All right, let's keep looking. Aave, underperform. Oh, this is one of the only other ones that's been overperforming. ACH. What is this? We've looked at this on stream before, but bear sentiment giving Alex gag reflexes. Facts. And that's not to say, you know, of course there's the trader SZs out there. There's the trader XOs. There's the guys that are actually nailing the tops on shorts and they're compounding really well. I'm not trying to say don't ever short, guys. Like, it's definitely never going to make you more money than it could. Obviously it can. Obviously trade both directions, especially if you're confident you can nail them right. I'm not so confident I can nail the short side without coping myself into either holding it back to my stop or covering it for like $500 because we're in a long-term bull market. So it's not my cup of tea. You know, the most you can make is 100%. So it's just like, ugh. The most I can make is a 2x. I mean, boo. Not my cup of tea. Anyways, yeah, ACH, one of the only things on my feed that is actually kind of outperforming. Still in my liquidity long. I'm feeling a little bit sketched out about this, but still holding this one. This one was outperforming. Now it's kind of just not. It's kind of just sitting here. Cardano, be quiet. What do you expect? Trash, trash, trash. Damn, Ape's like extra trash. At least some of these are like getting a nice candle. Why is Ape just dying? Might be a good one to short on bounces. What's up, Plaza? Thanks for tuning in, bro. APT's alright, underperforming. AVAX looks pretty good. AVAX looks pretty. I mean, this is pretty much a year-long sideways accumulation. Go high, go low. Go high, go low. This looks good going into like next year, but kind of boring for now. Probably a good time to accumulate stuff like AVAX. But for now, underperforming. Axes, no. Balancer. Very similar to AVAX. Really nice accumulation for a whole year. BNB. I mean, yeah. BNB is a safe bet for a bubble, right? Everyone's going to use Binance. Not everyone. I mean, a lot of people. A lot of retail are going to use Binance. And a lot of guys that want to ape on leverage are going to use Binance. It's just the way it goes. Thus, BNB is going to grow in value. I mean, this is kind of just a no-brainer play. Like, what was the phrase that... Excuse me. What was the phrase people used to say? Like, about the gold rush comparison, you know, the shovel manufacturers, right? You know, those guys made bank because everyone needed a shovel to mine gold. Well, people want to get BNB for their whatever it is off fees. I mean, and people just want to be long Binance, you know, same way people want to be long Coinbase by longing coin, people want to be long Binance by longing BNB. So, no-brainer. I would not be surprised to see this one outperform BTC a little bit better and quicker than some of the others. And that being said, the chart for it is actually just terrible. I mean, this is absolutely terrible. This looks just like exactly where it feels like we're in the cycle. Here, check this out. That's crazy. August 2019. That is exactly where it feels like we're at for Bitcoin right now. Okay, I spoke wrong. That was at the top. I don't actually feel like we're that high for Bitcoin. Because I'm still targeting this year 61.8 fib. On the full fib from top to bottom. I mean, that's kind of the same play we've been running, right? 61.8 fib, 61.8 fib, 61.8 fib. Wick up to the high 40s at some point this year. Yeah, it sounds good. Anyways, I was going to say that I think BNB will outperform Bitcoin sooner than others, and I do think it will, but for now, looks pretty gross. There's what else we got. Curve, kind of like AVAX, looks pretty good, but not outperforming on Doge. Good accumulation on ENS for over a year, but not outperforming. GMX, there's an outperformer, baby. I actually screwed the pooch so hard on this one the last week, guys. I'm freaking livid. Some of you guys like stories of people winning. Well, here's a story of people losing. Well, both, actually. I've been long escrowed GMX for a long time. Back in 2022 or 2021, I was farming a ton of GLP on AVAX, so I built up a nice escrowed GMX stack. Well, that should have been an X, not an A. Oh my gosh, I have GXX. Anyways, basically, when you're farming GLP, you build up escrow GMX. You can't withdraw it, but you get rewards and all that crap. Well, I had like 1,000 GMX built up as rewards, which is like 80 grand. And I don't know exactly how you're supposed to do it. But you can get those vested over a year. So you get it all over a year, but you don't earn rewards during that year. So I was trying to do that, and in doing that, I'm pretty sure I lost half of my rewards by trying to unstake, and I lost my multiplier points, which also cuts my rewards in half. So kind of got scammed on that one. I don't know. I guess I'm just a little bit retarded. Maybe I should have asked someone some questions before just trying to unstake this. But anyways, this is still probably my second biggest, I was going to say liquid bag, but I guess it's not really liquid, but my second biggest bag that I consider liquid, you know, outside of pre-sales and stuff like that. And for good reason. I mean, we were talking about getting long back in the 40s at the start of the year, and 40s back in like November. And here we are. I mean, 2x from this, you know, a 2x since the start of the year is not that bad. Right, it's pretty good. I wonder if we have a... We do. So yeah, not massively outperforming BTC, but doing pretty well. I mean, there's not really that much that's actually outperforming BTC right now. Other than little low cap 200k liquidity shitters, right? I mean, that's about all you got. I mean, there's nothing else really that's outperforming except like Stacks. Stacks ecosystem is doing pretty good. Link, yeah, that's about what I expect. To me, the BNB BTC chart kind of looks like how Link looked back then. I mean, this was one of the cleanest Bitcoin trends I've ever seen in my life. From the last bear market all the way to the first peak of the last bull market. I mean, Link BTC was the pair, and it hasn't been for years and years, maybe never will be again. So hopefully that's not the way BNB goes. I mean, I don't think it will be because, I don't know, I just think BNB is a lot more quality, but it's probably going to be a while till that one outperforms. Anyways, moving on. Luncy, Gross, Matic. Definitely getting schmacked against BTC, but Matic is definitely one of the ones up there with like AVAX that I think is worth accumulating this year for sure. Near, one. Optimism. Optimism looks pretty good. Big concern for me would be that we broke the bands and potentially putting in a lower high before going lower. Biggest concern for me, but you know, you could always play the short-term trends on stuff like this, right? As long as these little short-term trends, 4-hour trend holds up, I think it's fine. But if you lose that, I would start to be concerned about a lower high on something like Optimism. And a lot of altcoins that broke market structure, reclaimed it, and are now pushing up, basically V-bottoming. You definitely want to watch for lower highs on that, right? You can play these little short-term trends. It's very similar to how I handled, actually, the big COVID crash back here. You know, a little bit different, but kind of the same. We had a big daily trend break, and then we had a nice rally, and when people think we're bottoming, no one wants to miss that. So what you do is you play the 4-hour trend, right? And then when you lose that, you just cut it, right? Simple as that. And then when this happens, you're not freaking out. Oops. And then you can always re-ape, you know, if you cut it and it does this, you can always re-ape with new defined risk. Simple as that. So that's how I would be playing a lot of shitcoins right now if you're still got the shitcoin itch. Right, you know. A lot of you guys on size probably better off just doing Bitcoin, honestly, but depending on EGLD, I haven't heard that name in a while. No, we could definitely take a look at it. Probably do a Bitcoin top down here, and then we'll get into some altcoins more. I'm really just browsing through here. COVID crash was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if we'll ever see something like that again in our lifetimes. Maybe, but that was wild. I mean, Bitcoin would have been zero if not for Arthur Hayes. I mean, not zero everywhere, but it would have gone to zero temporarily, for sure. At least on BitMEX, if Arthur Hayes didn't halt the liquidation engine I mean, one of the worst stock crashes in history. Definitely the worst. I think maybe the worst for Europe that there ever was, and worst for America in 50 plus years or something. I mean, that was just absolutely crazy. And that going on with COVID, you know, I'm out at the grocery store waiting an hour and a half to get in the freezing cold back in New Jersey. I'm going in, all the toilet paper's gone. People think they use, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I do not use that much toilet paper. People are buying rolls on rolls on rolls. I can't recall the last time I bought toilet paper. Anyways, I'm just babbling at this point, I suppose. Anything else? Yeah, just stacks, really. Stacks has been the main thing that's outperforming Bitcoin. As far as high caps go, GMX is close, but still not quite there. Everything else is pretty weak. Oh, but have an XRP breakout? First XRP reclaim of Pi since 2021. Oh. Ow. Everyone's favorite coin. Alright, anyways, I know a lot of you guys want to talk altcoins and low caps and stuff, so we'll go ahead and do a full top down on BTC. Ooh, another thing I want to note before I get rid of this. I think it's cool that we are 400 days before the halving, give or take, you know, about 400 days until the halving, assuming the halving is early April, late March, something like that next year. And we're getting a super key weekly breakout, a change in market structure, plus a change in EMA structure, plus just a fat candle that's bigger than most candles near it on good volume. And I know Bitstamp's not the most traded exchange, so you're not going to see big volume change, but look at Binance. Huge volume, right? So I think it's crazy that 400 days before halving, just like last time, 400 days before halving, we had the same thing happen. Huge market structure break, huge EMA shift, massive amount of buyers coming in here. And also, you know, I don't know if it'll be the same this time around, but people were coping. I was coping. I was reasonably confident, you know, we're going to reject from 6K. Maybe we're not going to go to 3K, but we're going to reject. And this was the retrace everyone wanted back here. Everyone wanted that 4K dip, which we eventually got when nobody really wanted it. But everyone wanted that. And to me, this is essentially 30K. You know? Like, and it's funny because we grinded at this level like it was actually big support. And then we cut through like butter, and we cut through again like butter. And I'd say we grinded in front of 6K longer than we did 30K. I mean, we grinded a little bit here. We tapped it, and then we just kind of plowed right through it. So maybe we'll do the same thing here. Test it. Come back kind of to where we are now. I mean, we're at 28K. We're only 2K away from 30K. Isn't that bad shit? Sorry, isn't that bonkers, guys? I'm trying to not swear as much. Isn't that wild? But anyways, I just thought that was cool. 400 days before halving, and we're really performing the same setup with potentially an even better narrative than in 2019. So, love to see that. Matic ETH showing exceptional strength. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It was looking good against BTC too. Not too bad, you know, comparatively at least. Yep, still making higher lows against ETH. I mean, that's good. Yeah, absolutely. But we know it's time for the king to shine for a bit. Can you explain what halving actually means? Let me see if Vassal does here. Yep, there you go. It's just a supply cut. I mean, not just a supply cut, right? That's a big thing. I mean, imagine if the amount of dollars the government was allowed to print every year is just cut in half. Every 4 years, just cut in half. Like, not possible to print more. Well, that's basically Bitcoin, right? Yeah, every 4 years, cut in half. How are you going to get it? There's only a few ways to get it. You can buy it. If you're the American government, you can seize it. Or you can steal it. I mean, that's pretty much the only ways you can get more Bitcoin. And there's less and less each year. And a lot of the big guys that have owned Bitcoin a while, those guys don't ever plan to sell it for dollars. If they didn't sell it for dollars, you know, on the first 17,000x, or the next 100x, or the next 20x, or the cumulative 1,000,000%, they're probably not going to sell on a 5x to 100K. You know, those guys are not touching it. They're holding Bitcoin until they can buy everything they want with it, you know, or until every fiat currency is wrecked. Like, that is what those guys are buying. So the amount of Bitcoin that you can actually buy, and people forget this when so much volume is on derivatives these days, but accumulating a fat bag of Bitcoin is pretty tricky, you know, especially if you're like a big hedge fund trying to buy in 100 million, 500 million, $1 billion. Like, it's pretty tricky to not push price, especially when now so many of your competitors are looking at ways to get in this. I mean, you got to consider too, Bitcoin is literally one of the best, and I don't want to sound retarded on this. I got to put the disclaimer. I'm not a traditional analyst, you know, traditional market analyst. So when I speak about traditional markets, there's going to be jargon and lingo that I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. But in my opinion, Bitcoin is one of the best weapons that other countries have against the USA. And like it or not, pretty much every country out there wants to have a good weapon against the USA. I'm not talking about nuking us or chemical weapons and shit. I'm talking about financial weapons, right? The whole world runs on the dollar. Every nation needs to hoard dollars. Every nation's in debt in dollars. Meanwhile, we just get to print the dollars. So it's kind of just shitty for them, you know, if they want to hold 500 billion in USD and then we print 5 trillion in USD, their holdings of USD are now worth a lot less. So why would they want to hold that when they could just hold Bitcoin, something that the US government can't just make more of, right? It's the greatest way to get back at the US. Get yourself off the dollar, accumulate more Bitcoin, right? And hard metals and crap like that. So the narrative for this is better than it's ever been, and this is the time for Bitcoin to prove itself. You know, this is what it was literally made for. So, I mean, I'm absolutely stoked to see this come into fruition. Where are you looking to buy spot BTC if no current exposure? I mean, shit you not, like right here. I mean, if you consider the long term on this, right? I mean, how is this any different than previous cycles? Oh, I don't want to buy 28K. It was just 20K. It was just 15K. Okay. It might be 23K next week. Okay. You know, where's the risk, right? The risk for me, you know what, we lose 20K and you lose out on 20% or whatever. And long term, I mean, if you're talking hyperinflation, the upside is massive, absolutely ridiculous. But at the same time, if you're talking hyperinflation, the world's going to be a different place. So my biggest worry is probably not Bitcoin anyways. But if we're talking bull market, bear market, you know, you're risking 20% for, in my opinion, we go to 100K this cycle. Not this year, but in the next few years, I think we're going to 100, 200K. So, you know, 200, 500, 600% versus 20%. I think buying here, you know, like I would be comfortable putting 5% of my net worth into Bitcoin right now, locking it up in cold storage, not touching it. You know, would have been nicer to buy that at 20K, sure, but 20K, 28K, I mean, does it really matter that much? If Bitcoin's, what's the way to put this? If the reason Bitcoin is around actually comes to fruition, you know, banks are collapsing, fiat is garbage. I mean, these things are already kind of happening. 20K versus 28K, 25K versus 28K doesn't really matter. I would be buying right here. And then if it retraces, great. Great. Buy more. Right? That's pretty much the strat. And then, you know, depending on how you want to play it, cut it if you lose 20K or continue to DCA. You know? So, yeah, I would buy right here. You know, if you're talking like, you know, long-term exposure, you know, 2 to 5% of your net worth. If you're talking about aping half your net worth, I mean, no, I probably would not do that right here. But, you know, if you're just a nibbler, then yeah, I don't see any reason not to. I mean, this is a fantastic looking candle. And then if, by God's good grace, you get a retest of either this zone or this zone, you double up, you know, put 3% of your net worth in here, 3% down there, boom. 6% long Bitcoin, I mean, if it goes up massively, you're going to make some good money. It's a good hedge against inflation, a good hedge against fiat currency, this and that. A lot of good reasons to own Bitcoin right now. But anyways, let's get some structure back here. I want to do a full top down. Then we can look at altcoins and some of the suggestions you guys have and whatnot. Okay? So first off, no indicators needed. The most simple way to look for a trend, follow the lower highs of your bearish candles here, right? Lower high, massive fake out here. So close to making a little bit of a higher high. No shot. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Boom. The big shift, right? Surprising to no one, of course. Biggest bullish candle on the chart. That's our new trend, right? Our new trend is up. And now, to be taking out another key swing high on lower time frames, even more bullish. So, previously, I would have said neutral to bearish, then I would have said neutral to bullish, and now I'd really just say bullish. On the weekly, there's a little bit more room for error and rejection, especially as we're coming into, this 30K region, right? 30 to like 32K. I could definitely see a rejection there. Just like it would have made sense if we rejected 6K on the run up. We didn't. We cut right through it. That happens too. It's not that big of a deal. So maybe we do that again this time with 30K. But I would expect a rejection here. If you're long on perps and stuff, you bought the 20K dip well, you bought this breakout well, I would be taking some profits into here. Right? And then if we cut through there, great. It's a massive gap really up until like 45, 48K. So, or maybe a pit stop at like 35, maybe. But really, it's pretty much just air above 32K. So TP some in here, TP some up here. Maybe start to move into altcoins depending on how the BTC pairs start to look. And then just relax. I mean, we still got a long time until the BTC halving. And let's consider one thing. The game plan for BTC has been, for a while, we get a run up into the halving, right? BTC halving here, BTC halving here, BTC halving here, BTC halving here. Okay, so the plan for a while has been run up into halving, consolidate or nuke after the halving, and then the bull run. Run up into halving, consolidate or nuke after, bull run. Run up into halving. I mean, this was honestly the lowest nuke. I remember it. You can't even see it on the monthly, but it was like, it's like 10K to 8K. It's like a 15% dump. It's really not that much. But that was it, right? We ran it before halving. We dumped a little bit, went sideways. DeFi summer, bull market. That's basically my game plan again. Run up this year. Rounded bottom. I mean, pretty poor drawing. Maybe we run a little bit into having nuke, sideways, and then bull run. But our sample size is very low. What, 1, 2, 3? It might not happen again. We might not run up into having sideways and then rip after. We might just rip before it even gets here. Because you're going to have a lot of people seething if we start to get a real full bull run before the halving is even here. Right? We've never broken all-time highs before the halving. So I think it'd be pretty sick to see that happen this time. I'm not so confident. I definitely don't think that we're going to get new highs this year. Just speculation. I mean, just trade what you get, really. But I think we're going to make a rejection somewhere at the highest, maybe like upper 40Ks. Very similar to the last echo bubble, to the 61.8 fib. Okay? That has us right around 48K, which also lines up beautifully with this last lower high before the bull market was over, right? Right in there. So I think that is probably our peak this year. And then I think we'll retest somewhere from like 30K maybe down to like 25. You know, and maybe we'll reject there first. 30K, 25, 45, pull back to 30, and then boom, or maybe down lower and then boom, something like that. Really poor drawings. I mean, I don't think it's actually going to take into 2025 for this to happen, but that's kind of the idea, right? 30K, 25K, 45K, 30K, new highs. That's my basic game plan for this. And then the more bullish would be we rip right through 30. We just make higher lows in front of 45 and slow grind it to new highs. I think this is the least likely outcome in my book, but definitely an outcome worth talking about. Anyways, now looking at indicators, finally, we have the 8 EMA. Not only are we trending above it, but it's starting to rise. So that's a very good sign for the long term. Last step we really want to see on the monthly as far as EMAs go is we want price to be trending above all of them. And as of 28K, we are officially above all the EMAs on the monthly that we want to be. But we'd really like this 8 EMA to get back above all of them too, right? And for price to maintain above that. Because right now, you guys know me. I don't like mucky EMAs very much. You know, if we get into the weekly, you can see more what I'm talking about. These periods of time, obviously, the bottoms are always going to be when the EMAs look like this. You're never going to get a long-term bottom with EMAs looking like this. You're just not. They're going to happen in the bear markets, right? EMAs are going to look bad. They're going to be bearish. But these are not my favorite times to be super heavy, right? Like, I had said for like a year and a half that when Bitcoin gets back above the monthly 8 EMA, I was going to start to shift funds back from my bank into crypto, which for me is kind of like taboo. When I cash it out to the bank, it never comes back. But when things look great, I'm probably going to do it. But then we got back above it. I just wasn't feeling it. I did not feel like putting on the extra risk. And that way, the smaller bit that I do have in crypto, I kind of just get to go balls to the walls with. Because as far as my net worth goes, it's not as high risk. But once we get back to EMA structure on the monthly and the weekly looking like this, then I'm willing to start to put that money to work. But for now, we're still looking kind of like this. And the same on the monthly. It looks kind of like this. We want to see the 8 EMA trending above all the others, and we want to see all the others rising. Ideally expanding, but even just rising like this is good. And we're just not quite there. You know, it's close, but you can see how clearly this structure in EMAs is very different from, well, basically the rest of Bitcoin's history on the monthly. You know, most similar comparison would be to 2015. And then talking about price, looks really good getting back above here. Long-term cycle, still plenty of room to run. Momentum, still rising. Would really like to see momentum get back above 0. It's simply just going to take some time for that to happen. You're not going to get that probably in 1 month. We'd have to go to like 60K. But the majority of the bull market is going to happen when monthly momentum is trending above the 0 line on the CCI and the RSI. Bear market, echo bubble territory. Okay, doesn't mean we can't have great rallies, but I would not expect this to just lead straight to all-time highs by any means. So I wouldn't say the most bullish I've ever been on the monthly, but definitely bullish. We went from neutral to bearish to neutral to bullish to really just bullish outside of a little bit more work from the EMAs. Any questions so far following along? I mean, nothing wild really been talking about yet. Now, the weekly, we definitely were getting a little bit concerned. You know, we had a pretty nasty rejection right into the bands on the weekly, right into this old lower high. Can you hide alerts, for goodness sake? They always drive me insane. I guess not. Oh, well, not a big deal. Maybe I don't have some on Coinbase. Yeah, I don't have alerts here. Nice. But yeah, we had a pretty nice rejection into the bands. Weekly cycle crossed. Momentum started to fall. And then we held, 20K perfectly. And not to toot my own horn or anything, but if you go look back in here, I posted an analysis highlighting the key levels I was looking for. And it was 20.5K and 19.8K, 19.7K. And even in the chat, posted about logs right into there. Again, not toot my own horn too much, but pretty much nailed this move up outside of a couple trades that didn't go my way. But, you know, that's how it's going to be. And now we've got a beautiful continuation setup on momentum. Cycle's still coming down, but it's kind of a lagging indicator, you know. Maybe we'll end up sidewaysing for a little bit while this turns back up. But regardless, weekly's looking better than it has in a long time. We finally reclaimed all EMAs. At least 3 hours from now, we'll have a close and we'll have reclaimed them. 8 EMA, not quite above the rest of them. So again, just like we're talking about on the monthly, guys, the weekly is the same way. Very clearly different market structure. Different EMA structure. This versus this. Okay, I think the echo bubble will not be over until our EMAs are starting to look like this again, which likely happens somewhere up here. Do we go there next week, next month? I don't know. You know, all kind of a gambler's game there, but I don't think we're done quite yet. But we're also not in full-blown bull market territory, even though the narrative is stronger than it's ever been. Okay, but regardless, things are looking better than they looked for a very long time. I would not be fading this, right? Taking profits, fine. Totally understandable, especially when you go from 20K to 28K in 2 weeks. But shorting this, I just don't think is really worth it. You know, if you're a pro scalper, by all means, go for it. Wish you best of luck. But for most people, it's best if you're looking to be short the market, just sit in cash. You know, that's already short Bitcoin. If you're in cash, you're betting you can buy Bitcoin cheaper than right now. Simple as that. You really want to lever up? By all means, just manage your risk appropriately, guys. Right? You do not want to be the guy that is shorting a super strong echo bubble or shorting a bull market. I mean, you could probably count on just your two hands the number of big traders that have made their wealth from shorting Bitcoin. You know, like there's people out there that have done it, made good money from it. But it's going to be a lot harder, and in my opinion, a lot more stressful than just capturing the upside of Bitcoin. And then when you think it's going to go down, just sit in cash, you know. Or you could even, you know, my favorite strat from back before stables were like super popular as the main go-to was to be long Bitcoin, just hold Bitcoin, and then short an equal amount on like perps and whatnot. You know, so if you cash out 50K to Bitcoin and then you short 50K Bitcoin perps. Depending on funding. You got to watch funding. You want funding to be on your side when you're doing that, really. Because you don't want to just be short and then paying funding all day, every day. But that used to be a pretty good strat. You hold Bitcoin, so you're not at risk of the stablecoin shit that was going on. Because back then, it was pretty much just USDT, and it was a lot sketchier back then than it is now. Now, USDT kind of feels safe. Back then, it was still kind of sketchy. So, that's a pretty good strat now, too. Hold some Bitcoin, short some Bitcoin perps. But, anyways, pretty much all we're going to get out of the weekly here. I mean, you could outline a bunch of levels, but, you know, the only real levels I'm looking at is like 30 to 32K. You know, maybe around like 35, 36, and then upper 40s. I think Echo Bubble ends this year at some point, wicking into upper 40s. You know, I think we will end up consolidating around the mid-low 30s at some point. Maybe we reject there, come lower, and then consolidate later. Maybe we just consolidate when we get there and move up. I think that'll be a good level of consolidation. Versus this, I think it'll be a pretty heavy rejection. Followed by some lower highs and then maybe move down lower before we pump into the halving. That's definitely my most reasonable outlook. And maybe we don't go that high, guys. I mean, 30K is already a 100% move off the lows. So, you know, we could definitely reject here. Base between there and like 20K for a while. Let altcoins have some fun, right? Let the traders have a little fun trading the range, and then we pop, run at the halving, whatever. Oh, the halving hit. Why aren't we pumping? Sell your Bitcoin. And then it retraces, and then the bull market. My most plain outlook right there. But let's go ahead and move on. Not really any more information on the weekly to look at. Daily, still looking really solid. I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't look at this and think I want to short. You want to short this, I get it. I guess I get that. But honestly, it's one of the biggest baits ever, shorting a candle like this. I mean, I remember the Ethereum all-time high test last cycle, right? Take off log. Nasty rejection at the highs. We're up from $80 to $2,000. Super bearish, guys. You got to sell. It's just, let me look at it. Look at this candle. It's a bearish candle. We're going to go down next, right? And then, you know, we all know how it went. It didn't. And that's exactly what just happened to Bitcoin traders. They got absolutely scammed into shorting this daily candle. And here we are, happily above it. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think it's fair game to retrace back there. You know, that would be a very nice zone of support. Either rejection from here or up towards 30, 32K. I think that would make for a nice bottom. You know, flush, deeper flush, retrace, reclaim, move up higher. Something like that. So I don't think we're out of the woods from retesting mid 20Ks, but there's definitely a lack of euphoria on my timeline on Twitter. You know who's euphoric on my Twitter? Pierre. Pierre's euphoric because that man's nailing trades. But for the most part, I'm really not seeing it. I'm not seeing the euphoria you would expect from 20K to 28K in 9 days. I'm just not seeing it. So, you know, take that for what you will. Take it with a grain of salt or whatever. All I'm seeing is a BCI and another BCI. And that was my favorite simple strat from 2017. You get a daily BCI, you just add. And if you guys don't know what a BCI is, essentially you have a trend going in one direction, right? There's your trend, there's your trend, there's your trend. And then you have a candle opposite of your trend that tries to reverse it, stop the trend from continuing, whatever. When you invalidate a candle like that with an engulfing or close above it or whatever, oops. This becomes a BCI, aka a bearish candle ignored or a bullish candle ignored. It goes both ways. You know, you can have 3 red, then a green, then a red. I never TP the BCI, right? Always TP after the BCI because statistically, 9 times out of 10, the candle after the confirming candle of the BCI will go higher. 9 times out of 10. So that's when you start to TP on the next moves. And often you'll go a lot higher than that too. I mean, infinite examples in a bull market, right? And it can be multiple candles like this, right? There's your trend, attempt to reverse, invalidated, BCI. These candles attempt to reverse, boom, invalidated, BCI. And your stop goes below the candles that are getting, you know, reversed on, right? Here's 3 pullback candles, boom, engulfing, BCI, you can add. Attempt to reject with this topping tail, boom, BCI, you can add. Once again, little consolidation pullback, boom, BCI, you can add, new stop. Nice little pullback here, boom, BCI, you can add, new stop. BCI, you can add, new stop. BCI, you can add, new stop, boom, cut it. Cut all of these additions when a BCI fails. And then just long the next reasonable setup, boom, huge bullish engulfing. Right into the bands. Simple as that. Start it again, right? BCI, add, new stop. BCI, add, new stop. BCI, add, new stop. BCI, add, new stop. BCI, new stop. Boom, cut it, wait. It's the same thing, guys. It's the same thing. Nice engulfing setup. Boom, add. BCI, add, new stop. BCI, add, new stop. Over and over and over. Just keep it simple. And let me be clear that a stop on a setup like this is not a hard stop, right? I want to see a close below this level, right? To really be invalidated. Because you can definitely wick this level. You know, if we start to zoom in, what this BCI on the daily is representing is simply a higher low on lower time frames, right? Like here's the BCI on the 4 hour, right? Here's some more here, right? Great example. A BCI here, the stops get run, but there's no closes below it, right? Same thing here. BCI add, stop below the BCI. BCI add, stop below here. Like, it's the same strat. And it's simple. It's a simple trailing stop strategy. So you can be, you know, if you're long down here, you can TP some, add on the BCI. You can TP some, add back on the BCI. Over and over and over and over. And then you're just trailing out your stops with these BCIs and the higher lows. Really simple, really effective strat. So if we close this daily candle around here, we should expect the BCI to hold. Now, as you get more extended, right, eventually the BCIs are going to stop holding. You know, just like we saw back in 2017, eventually these BCIs are going to get run over, right? There's going to be deeper pullbacks. There's going to be complex pullbacks, whatever you want to call them. It's going to happen. So don't act like, you know, you're going to take the BCI trades and never lose. You're going to lose eventually, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to get continuation off of BCI. And another great strat, I'm just going to do circles, it's easier to draw. When you get candles that are going up, right, and then you get a big red candle, and then you get, I don't know, let's say another red candle. And then you get, boom, big engulfing candle, close above that. The strat is to rebid the top of the bearish candles ranges. So let me find, there's plenty of good examples here, but let's find, there was a specific one that was very clear. Anyways, there's a bunch on the chart. Let's look at this one. And it's not just for BCIs, guys. This goes for regular candle setups too. You got lower highs in your bearish candles, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Boom. Engulfing setup. All right. So you go in, outline the candle, this bearish candle that's getting engulfed, bid the top of the range. Boom. That's your entry. That's your risk. All right. Simple as that. And boom. BCI, another chance to add. BCI, another chance to add. BCI, chance to add. BCI, 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 and cut it. Simple as that. Engulfing setup. Start it again, baby. Take a bid. Bid the top of the engulfed candle. Boom. Hit it. Over and over. BCI, BCI, BCI. Cut it. Right? Bid the engulfing. Boom. BCI. This is technically a BCI, BCI, BCI. Boom. Cut it. Simple strategies, guys. Don't got to overcomplicate it. Okay? Don't got to let your emotions into it, all that stuff. Just keep it simple. All right. This is probably the longest I have just talked about Bitcoin in a while. So if you guys have any questions about this, I've been pretty clear about my expectations. I'll outline them again very quickly one more time. I think we base in front of 25K. You know, worst case, maybe back down to like 22s. Upside cap, 30 to 32K. First go around. Maybe we rip right through. Okay, but I think there's a good chance we reject here, back down to the basing levels, get through there. Maybe we reject at the higher low from back here, but as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty much just air up to upper 40Ks. Level to level, guys. Level to level to level to level. Keep it nice and simple. Okay? And don't be afraid to keep cash on hand. I know holding cash with inflation, with the stablecoin risk, it's not really a very exciting idea, especially when things are going up. Holding cash feels very cringe, for lack of a better word. But dry powder in a bull market, and I'm not saying we're in a full bull market yet, but dry powder, even just in uptrends, is very comforting. Because at some point, we're going to get a deep dip. We are going to get deep pullbacks. We're going to get sharp pullbacks that come out of nowhere. You know, just like the 2019 run up. You're going to have a crazy run, thinking, man, why am I holding cash? It's just up only day after day after day after day. And then you can barely even tell, but then in 2 days, you're going to be down 20% on BTC. And you're going to be like, oh shit, this is why I held cash all the way from 5K, so I could ape the dip here. So remember, what do? You buy the engulfing, right? You buy the engulfing and you bid the top of the engulfed candle. Ba-boom. Keep it simple. Over what time frame? I mean, this shit really applies to every time frame. You know, you can trade around these concepts on any time frame. And I would definitely, if you're holding Bitcoin, I would consider splitting it up. You know, have a bag of Bitcoin that's in this cycle, right? This is the long-term trend on BTC. Have a bag that is committed to this trend. And then have a portion of that that's committed to this trend. And then, have a portion of that that's committed to this trend. And then a portion of that that's committed to this trend, right? It's just trend inside of trend. Okay, if you have $10,000 in BTC, maybe you're trading 2,000 of it on the 4 hour, 2,000 on the daily, 2,000 on the weekly, 2,000 with the monthly. Split it up. Don't keep it all in one bag or you're going to end up puking your long-term position. Okay, so that's about all I got for Bitcoin. I know you guys want to look at shit coins and low cap, so let's see. Who was it? Someone. Logan Barker. Not sure if you're still in here, bro, but we're going to take a peek at EGLD since that was the first recommendation from anyone. How do you even pronounce it? I always pronounce it EGLD, but what is the actual project name? Is this it? 52? Oh my gosh, this thing's $1 billion. What is this? Multiverse SX. The long-term chart for this is pretty juicy. I must say, run up to $500, sitting at $40 right now. Whoa, scale across the multiverse. Oh, it's like a Marvel movie, guys. Wow, amazing. I've never heard of, I've heard of this, but I've never heard of multiverse. Wasn't this something else? I guess they've rebranded. But let's take a look at it. Okay, yeah, it looks like everything else, right? It looks like every other weekly chart for the most part. Right? They're all just doing their little consolidation thing. I wouldn't say this sticks out more than anything else. It's still, unlike Bitcoin, it's still in its long-term downtrend. Right? This is the trend of lower lows and lower highs. And a lot of alts are still in this because the eyes are on BTC right now. People are not looking to pay, right now people don't know where to put their money. Right? Sure, they want to put it in the big banks because right now we've shown the big banks can get bailed out, so you're pretty, quote, safe in the big banks. But at the same time, you only want so much in actual cash because it's going to be inflated out the ass. So where do you go? Do you go panic park it in Aave? Do you go panic park it in Chainlink or KNC or Doge? No. You panic park it in heavy metals. You panic park it in Bitcoin. You're not panicking into EGLD yet, right? But at some point, when Bitcoin has done this and starts to do this, and you realize, I'm not going to be making bank on Bitcoin for this period of time. How can I increase my Bitcoin stack? You trade shit like this. That's how the market makers and the whales do it. When this is happening, they're going to be flooding their profits into stuff like this, and they're going to pump that shit up, until Bitcoin's done with this, and then they're going to sell alts for Bitcoin, and they're going to let Bitcoin rip again. That's how it always goes. And it used to be there was an order to it, you know, that Bitcoin would rip. And then the high caps would rip, Ethereum and Litecoin and Monero, other big high caps. And then the mid caps would rip, like Aragon and Ardor and NXT and crap like that, right? And then it would all flow down to the low caps. But that's not really necessarily the case anymore. Now you've got low caps, unlike 2017, with real narratives, real utility, real value and yield being produced. So some of that stuff is already looking juicy right now. Even though it used to be Bitcoin, then high caps, then mid caps, then low caps. Now it's kind of Bitcoin and low caps while everything else chills. And maybe we'll see it happen again. You know, Bitcoin will calm down sometime in the middle of this year. And then maybe later this year, Ethereum will have its big moment with all the other L2s and stuff like that. And then the projects on those L2s are going to flow. And then the low caps are going to have their big final 10x moments. That's kind of how I'm expecting things to go. Still holding Woo. I have a small long-term position in Woo, but I don't have a big bag. I'm definitely a little bit nervous because I really want to have a big bag when Woo sends again. I mean, it's been accumulating for basically a year now. So when we break out of this range, I don't think we're going to be coming back anytime soon. So no, I don't have a big position now, but I'm definitely looking to load up on this. Hopefully a little bit closer to the mid-range, but, you know, might just not get that. Might end up missing out. But, yeah, WooTrade's still one of my favorite projects out there. I guess Gate is the best place. Ooh. Damn. What happened at the lows down here? It went from like 3-4 million volume a day to 240 million, but price didn't even move. And now it's up 3,000% in like 2 weeks. I mean, I don't know what this is, but it looks good. I just want to be a little bit cautious. It is running in a 4-hour downtrend right now. Right, so once you escape from that, I think this looks good to go again, especially with this nice hold of Pi and the daily bands. But definitely want to recognize the difference in structure right now, right? This is a consolidating market. This is a trending market, okay? So I think it's okay to be accumulating here. Definitely fine to be, you know, if you're in from earlier, it's okay to be trailing your stops to this general region, or even just below the last major BCI, right? And then if you lose that, you cut it, and just be patient. You know, be patient on this little pullback here, right? It looks like a bullish pullback, but until you start to crack like 40 cents, you know, maybe play a little bit safer. But it looks good. I mean, most alts are not showing strength like this. I don't know what this is, or why it has insane volume here. Let's go to a different chart. Plenix is a completely dead exchange. Let's try Mexi. That's got some good wash trading. No data there. Oh yeah, let's go to. Is this a Uniswap coin? Not really. Not really any liquidity here. Wow. I mean, somebody was loading the truck up. This is some crazy ass price action. This is what I want to see from Xerox Zero, guys. I want to see us go from a penny to freaking 70 cents. Anyways, nice consolidation here. I mean, I think this looks pretty good. You just want to, you know, it kind of reminds me of the Ordinals chart, right? Huge move up, and now you're just patiently waiting for this little downtrend to end, which is it's probably gonna take some time. Just came across it this morning. Yeah, I've never heard of this one. This is crazy what kind of run it went on. All right, let me look up. Did I miss anything? I think it was just EGLD. Matic, we peaked at Matic. Woo trade, I mean, could look more at Woo trade. There's not really that much to say. I mean, it looks good on the daily, but the weekly, monthly, it's still just range bound. You know, I would still just focus, you know, if you're long-term Giga Bullish, I would hold some for this breakout, but for now, I would just play it level to level. Mid-range to top of the range. You know, look to TP up here. When we break through, be glad you hold some for the long term. Look to add on dips. But for now, especially with Woo BTC looking kind of iffy, I would just be a little bit cautious. And just understand the king's going to be running, right? The king's going to run. It is what it is. And then when you get periods of time like this, you look for catch-up on altcoins. Right? Like this. Okay, but during this, it's all about Bitcoin. It's all about Bitcoin. During this, altcoins, altcoins, altcoins. Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. Okay? So right now, we are in the Bitcoin phase of this run. All right. Let me see. Is there any other high caps I really care to look at? Not really. Nothing here really sticks out to me. I mean, stacks. We should take a peek at stacks since it's my other big ecosystem investment. Let's do a quick top down, then we'll look at low caps, all right? So, the monthly for stacks is actually what we really want to see on Bitcoin, right? We want to see continuation above the monthly 8 EMA. Right? This volume is freaking crazy. Right? I mean, we've got really clean, simple setups here, right? Here's your bear market trend. Lower highs in the monthly, boom. Bear trend invalidated, bull trend is on. And now our new uptrend is defined by our monthly candles. Okay, so above 50 cents, the bull trend is still on for stacks. Looking at the bands are starting to curl up. The 8 is now trending on the weekly above every EMA. This is exactly what we want to see from BTC. What the heck? Oh, it's not scaled right. Exactly what we want to see from BTC in the coming weeks, right? We want to see the 8 EMA get back above the 60, and we want to see price maintaining above like 28K. Okay, so stacks is already there, looking super good. What's that setup on the weekly? It's the BCI. So it's a chance to add, and it's also a chance to bid. If we get back towards 80 cents, the upper end of this BCI, it's a bid, risk back below 50 cents. And then next major target would be probably this general region in here, right? Around 150, 160. And above that, I mean, it's just all-time high and fib extensions. First fib extension is up at $5. So I think there is absolutely massive room to run for this. You know, stacks is going crazy because it's essentially going to have DeFi for Bitcoin, right? It's a layer 2 for Bitcoin, right? You want to be doing all the stuff that's been happening on Ethereum the last few years with DeFi. You're going to be doing it on the stacks ecosystem if you want to be doing it on Bitcoin. Now, my 2 cents on it, I don't really care to do that stuff. I don't really care to be doing DeFi on Bitcoin. I don't really care to be using Bitcoin network. I'm all right with DeFi on Ethereum and other L2s that already exist, Arbitrum and stuff like that. But the narrative of an L2 for Bitcoin and, you know, people that missed out on all the L2 hype and DeFi hype for Ethereum and all those new L2s, those guys are going to be thinking, damn, I'm not going to miss it on Bitcoin. This is early. This is 3 weeks into this pump, 4 weeks. This is still early for L2s on BTC. They're not going to want to fumble the bag again. That's why this is going so hard. That's why people are holding so strong. And on top of that, just like with Ethereum DeFi, you know, you're not just longing the first big protocol. You're not just longing Uniswap. You're longing everything that happens on there, right? You know, you're longing your Aave, you're longing your Curve, your Convex, you're longing your Spell, you're longing that kind of stuff. It's going to be the same way for stacks in DeFi on Bitcoin. That's why I longed a boatload on the last dip to 80 cents. And I put basically all of that into low caps Let me make sure. This is all still going, right? I haven't checked the audio or anything, but I assume. Yep, still going fine. You guys can still see everything, yeah. But yeah, I basically put all of my stacks into ecosystem coins on the Stacks L2. So, which ones did I choose? I chose StackSwap, which at the time was about $2-3 million market cap. Now it's up to 7 million, still pretty undervalued. This is one of the main decentralized exchanges. One of the smaller cap ones, of course. The main one is Alex. Funny enough, my name is also Alex. Love to see it. Only rocking $50 million market cap. I mean, look at the differentiation. Almost $2 billion for the main coin. The next best thing on the ecosystem is $50 million, and right below that is 15. This is cheap. This is so cheap. I mean, you go look at all the stuff that there is for Ethereum just in the top 100. And you start to realize, I mean, top 100 is all over 400 million. The second cheapest thing in Stacks ecosystem is $50 million. And then it's basically 10 million below that. So I'm long the decentralized exchange, StackSwap. I should probably be long some Alex because that's the main like Uniswap DEX, I guess. But I don't know. As much as I can see, 50 million to 2 billion is a good like comparison. As far as low cap investing, it's a bit steep for me, you know. And I saw this at 4 cents. We were talking about it in Blockcircle, but I was kind of coping. Like I was just, do I really want to bridge to Stacks? Because it's kind of a hassle. You have to withdraw from Binance. That takes about an hour. And then every transaction on Stacks is just a bitch because it's just a pain in the butt. Because you have to wait for the 10-minute Bitcoin block time. Every block in Stack is at least 10 minutes, and sometimes a single block in Stacks is an hour. So you send a transaction through, it's not even going to be confirmed for at least 10 minutes, and you might be confirmed only to fail. I mean, my goodness, for me to get entries into StackSwap, into DIKO, and into WELSH, I mean, I might have gotten 5 buys that went through on 30 attempts. And again, you don't just buy and then 2 minutes later you're trying again when it fails. No, you got to buy and then wait 10 to 20 minutes to see if it fails. And price could already be about 30%. You don't even know until it fails. So it's a bitch. It's a pain in the butt. But some of my best plays ever were a pain in the butt to get into. Like, that's just how it goes. You guys remember Ryblox, XRB, now it's Nano from the 2017 run? That shit was a pain in the butt to get into at first. And you know what most people said? Nah, I'll wait till it's on Binance. Yeah, once it's on Binance, then I'm gonna ape. Well, damn, is Nano not even on main exchanges anymore? Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to go back. This one, I think. Yep. So, can you guys guess where this coin got listed on Binance? Because it's not rocket science, guys. That's where it's listed, around 30 bucks. And then it pumped, oh my gosh, it's on Binance. Whoa, it's going up 20%. And that was it. It was easy to buy, and it was over. Now, where did Jaboy and Blockcircle get in? Woo, boop. 10 cents. This was the shill back then. 10 cents. Now, where did I TP some big profits? $1. Oh my gosh, I'm up 10x. Oh, 1,000% gains in 3 weeks. Crazy. No way it can keep going. Oh, it's up 500% again. That's crazy. Oh, it's up another 10, up 20x more. Wow. Don't underestimate what can happen in a bull run, guys. And don't underestimate how hard something can run that is difficult to buy. For me, that is the whole Stacks ecosystem. This stuff is difficult to buy. Stacks is not hard to buy. You just log into Binance. So naturally, Stacks is the one that's really running hard because most people are just going to be long the main ecosystem coin for now. But for me, I like to bet big. I like to bet hard. That's why I'm in StackSwap. I'm also in DIKO, which I think it's DIKO, is another decentralized exchange, but it's also like the main stablecoin protocol, right? Kind of like MakerDAO with DAI. Same thing. And DIKO's stablecoin is USDA, which, as you can see, is not the most stable because it's only $2 million market cap. So over time, maybe this will be a viable option. Right now, in my opinion, USDA is not viable to use. But DIKO, for me, was a viable long at $5 million market cap or whatever it was. It was like 7 cents. So up a nice 2x on this one, up a nice 3x on this one. And then the other one I bought is WELSH Corgi, which is only 800K market cap. I think it was about 500K when I first got in. Really small bag. Now, this is pretty much a dead project, right? The team basically gave up on it, and they came back only when Stacks was getting popular just to make some money on the popularity of it. So I don't think this is a good coin. But right now, look at this. This is the Stacks ecosystem. This is it. And this is the only meme coin on here. And it's 800K market cap. That was enough for me to risk a couple percent. Because we all saw what happened with Sheeb. Sheeb went to billions. Why can't this go to 10 million, even if it's garbage, even if the devs are shitty and there's not really anything happening on it? Why not? So, that's my lineup. Gotta hold some stacks. It's the main coin, sure. I think Alex is a good hold, being the main DEX. DIKO, another good DEX, and also the stablecoin protocol. StackSwap, another decent DEX. Also, StackSwap offers cross-chain. Just keep in mind, it takes time. Like, I converted some Ethereum straight to DIKO, right? And what you do is you paste your Stacks address, which I use Hero Wallet for my Stacks address. You paste it there. You send, your Ethereum over from ETH, and then you wait, right? And I'm not connected right now, but it'll show up in your transaction status. It'll say pending. You'll send your Ethereum to the address. Well, these aren't mine. I don't know whose these are, but... And then it'll take a while. It took about a day for each of mine to go through. So you honestly, you don't know what price you're going to get at. You might send it through to buy DIKO when it's 15 cents, and the next day it gets there and it buys for you, it might be 30 cents. But you don't have to send to Binance. A lot of people can't get on Binance, especially USA customers. This is your way to get in. Right? You don't have a method to buy stacks easily. You don't have a method to withdraw to the Stacks ecosystem. So what do? You buy on StackSwap with Ethereum. It's going to take time, but you're going to get some exposure. And you can buy into all this stuff that way. Keep in mind, StackSwap is not the best liquidity. So it might just be best to go into Stacks from here and then go to DIKO's exchange or Alex exchange to actually buy the low caps. But for me, I was buying small amounts, so I just went straight to DIKO from ETH and WELSH. And then for, no, that's not true. I went from ETH to WELSH and ETH to StackSwap. But I went from ETH to Stacks on Binance to get DIKO. Because the DIKO liquidity on StackSwap is not as good as it is on DIKO's actual exchange. Okay, so that's the rundown on Stacks. Super bullish on the coin overall. I mean, the monthly is just absolutely juicy as mess. So I plan to be long this one to new highs. Maybe it'll take months to get to new highs, but I'm long until then. How to make money, create a token that's difficult to buy, shield Alex, dump on him. That would work. That has worked in the past. I have been rugged many a times. Someone was adding me on Twitter like, you never miss, King. Yes, I do. I miss a lot, actually. So people who follow me and copy trade me and stuff, you best expect to miss a lot. And the one that I hit that I'm big size on, you might not be big size on. So I don't really recommend people to copy trade me. The point of me sharing my trades in Blockcircle is not a copy trade service. It's to say, here's what I'm doing and here's why I'm doing it. If you agree with my reasonings for doing this, follow along all you want. But in the end, it's my risk tolerance. It's my plan. When I want in, I'm getting in. When I want out, I'm getting out. So you guys got to have the same plan for yourselves too. What's your current resolve and outlook for ORD? All right, let's get into low caps. We talked Bitcoin. We looked at the high caps. Mostly they look terrible. We did stacks ecosystem, so let's look at low caps. And since we're just talking stacks, it's a great time to talk Ordinals, because one of the big narratives for Bitcoin L2s right now is NFTs on Bitcoin. Whoa, so exciting, right? You know, who is that going to pull in? It's going to pull in people that, one, just want exposure to anything Bitcoin L2 related, and two, people that missed NFT hype on Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, Arbitrum. All the guys that missed that NFT stuff are going to be thinking, damn, I cannot miss NFTs on Bitcoin, right? That's where projects like Ordinals come in that are building marketplaces to trade Bitcoin NFTs, aka Ordinals. Now, I'm not going to speak too much on Ordinals because I don't really get it. I don't know how the inscription shit works, you know, how it's stored. I don't get it. I do get that if people want to use them, they're going to probably want to trade it on an Ordinal marketplace. And Ordinals is my bet for that. Another good one is Ordinals Finance. I'm not in this one, but also looks good, better than Ordinals, I must say. Lower market cap too. Looks good. The other one was OBTC, but I did dip out of this one. Oh shit, did they rug? Oh wait, no, this is the one. I don't think they rugged. But I don't remember when I dipped out of this one, but it was starting to look like a slow rug to me in here. And the marketplace had already launched and nothing was happening. So I dipped out of this one. Thankfully, it does look like a slow rug. I don't know if this one's coming back. But yeah, Ord is the only one that I hold right now that I think is actually a pretty good bet. The team's not trying to overhype it. They're not out here doing some crazy marketing, talking about shilling out the ass, retweeting every marketing post in the Telegram and stuff. They're just building. They're not focused on price. I like that. I think it's going to take some time. Obviously, when you go up in 2 days, 700%, you're going to get some harsh pullbacks, right? And so I did, TBH, kind of fumble the bag a little bit. I'm long from in here, and I TP'd like 10% up here. Probably should have TP'd more, but, you know, you live and learn. It's all right. I'm still okay holding this one for the bigger wave on stacks and Bitcoin Ordinals, which for now has not really taken off yet. So my resolve, not as high as some of my other projects, but the narrative I'm definitely pretty resolved on. I just think that maybe there's a little bit more money to be played in stacks and stacks eco coins than Ordinals, but you know, that being said, Ordinals is still probably my third or fourth biggest bag right now. Just because I was in so early and, you know, I was able to accumulate a pretty good bit down there. But anyways, chart still looks fine. It's just, you know, it's just consolidating. You know, what more do you expect? Unfortunately, the volume profile is kind of screwed now because someone in here got sandwiched for like $4 million. It was crazy. 300K liquidity. Someone got sandwiched for $4 million. So now volume doesn't mean anything unless you get rid of that. But volume looks fine right now. You know, I don't feel like that many people are really selling off in this range. I think more people are accumulating between 2,000 and 4,000. Okay, so it looks fine. It's definitely a hold for me. You know, I don't think I'm going to cut this one unless I get the feeling the team is slow rugging. And right now, I don't think they're slow rugging. I think they're just developing. All right. I mean, do we want to look at 0x0? I mean, it's pretty much half of what I'm talking about nowadays. So I don't feel like there's probably not even a real need to look at it. If you guys are following me at all, you've heard this spiel. You know why I like it. You know I think it's undervalued. You know I think it's going to go up a lot more. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you know, if you're in Blockcircle and you don't have a small bag, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I've been shilling it since here. I even publicly shilled on Twitter multiple times in this range, from the lows to the mid-range to the upper end. And not only was I shilling it, I was aping it. I mean, I put my money where my mouth is. Time and time again, I put my money where my mouth is. And this is why I think I don't get people that bitch at me when things go south. Because they know if they're in something that I've talked about and it's going south, I'm losing fat stacks. I'm not puking my whole bag and then still shilling it. If I'm shilling it, I got a big bag. You know? So, you know, if I'm talking about how I like it here and it nukes, there ain't going to be no one coming at me mad because they know I just got nuked too. Big time. Probably way more than them. So, nothing but good vibes here. And you guys recognize this? I mean, upwards accumulation during March. What happened during early March? Bitcoin absolutely nuked from 25K to 19K. Xerox Zero didn't budge. I mean, obviously, if you zoom in, there's some big swings. But most of these are single individuals. You know, it's one guy puking his bag here. Right? It's the same guy puking here. It's another guy here and here. Think about this chump. He sold down just himself 60%. 60% just to 2 weeks later miss out on 600%. That's it. Most of the holders during the dip to 19K were not selling. They were accumulating. Every time someone came in and puked their bag, there was someone on the receiving end ready to scoop that up every single time. And it's still happening. I mean, look at this mess. Look at this. Look at the buy volume. It's crazy, right? It goes up 100%, and then some guy decides to exit, and it's illiquid. So he nuked it 50%, and then someone gets a new entry, pushes it up 25%. Like, there is clearly a ton of demand for 0x0 right now. And what stands out to me the most is there's no news. The team's not releasing all their catalysts. They're hoarding their catalysts. They're just building out their platform. This is all just organically growing. This is up 1,200% in a month off basically no hype. It's me and 5 or 10 other guys shilling this. Right? Like, people are not in this yet. And I'm getting new messages every day. Yo, what's 0x0? Yo, I'm seeing you shill 0x0. What is this? Yo, how can I get on this? Who's the team? Who can I talk to? People are interested in this. So I don't think this is just going to disappear. Now, are we going to continue up only nonstop? Probably not. We didn't up only nonstop after this. We went sideways. So I think it's plausible we keep just going up only. But I think it's also reasonable for us to do something like this. Or, like this. Or even, a bigger range like this. Right? And then as the privacy DEX starts to be built out, as the mixer starts to gain more hype, as some of these fees start to come back to holders in the form of Ethereum, this bad boy's going to rip and it's not going to come back. That's what I think. $3 billion market cap for this is an absolute joke. It's already fully diluted. There's no pre-sale guys that are going to be dumping on you. The only people that could be dumping on you are the guys that are in from here, right? The very few guys that are up, 4,000, 5,000%. And guys, I'm a super degen. I am watching this like a hawk. When a transaction comes through, I'm clicking the transaction. I'm going to the holder. I'm going to see when they were in, when they're getting out, all that stuff. And 9 out of 10 people that bought here are gone. I'm not talking they're selling. They have sold. They are out. These people are fully exiting at $3 million market cap. And there's no hate. There's no shame. This is a huge return. A 25x in a bear market / echo bubble. Huge. I don't shame anyone for taking that and running. Congratulations. I'm happy for them. That being said, I'm up anywhere from 500 to 1,000%. And on my buys from in here, up 100% to 200%. I'm not touching it. Right? Even people that are in from here, people that are in from here, a lot of them are done. They're already out. There's nobody, there's only like 10 people with big overhead. You know, it's not like your average coin from last cycle looks like this and now looks like this. This is good. This is a nice accumulation you're seeing across everything. Wu Trade, for example, right? Nice accumulation. Here's your overhead. This is your overhead. Everyone that bought up here and all the VCs that are still in from down here. That's your overhead. There's no overhead here. There's like 2 people that still hold from here. And we saw, and again, I'm a DJ, I'm watching this stuff. During this run-up, what the biggest holder sold 10 million coins. Another holder sold like 15 million. I think in total, 35 million coins were sold. 4% of the supply distributed, and we're still making new highs. The interest is here. But, you know, the disclaimer, guys. The disclaimer is this guy. This is all it takes. It takes one guy. And we can be back at this range. So you feel like you missed out? There's still a chance, right? You get a dip back to this range, you hit the buy button. If you want to be exposed to low caps, if you're responsible, you know how to manage your risk. I'm not saying it's for everyone. If I didn't have a position, though, I would want a dip back under 3,000 to be getting in. And knowing me, I would already ape here. If I had no position, I would ape something, $500, $1,000, whatever. Thus, if out of nowhere, all of this starts to look like this looks like, i.e., like this, and we're trading up here, you're going to feel pretty good about that $1,000 that you aped at the highs. Likewise, if in 3 days we're down 60% in here, you're going to be glad you aped $1,000 instead of your whole stack. So you can ape in and you can average down. Right? Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, I can genuinely not recall even a single time that someone has come to me angry or upset about me like shilling something and it going south. Literally no one. I don't know if everyone that follows me is just really sweet and genuine and, you know, an adult. That's the big thing. They're responsible, accountable adults that are following me. They buy something because I'm buying it and they get wrecked. It's on them. Likewise, you buy this because I'm buying it. It goes up 10x. That's not on me, bro. That's on you. You put up the money. You enjoy the gains. You know, you can thank me and all that, but pat yourself on the back. You're putting up the risk. Just like me. And I think that's why a lot of people relate to me. I'm a degen at heart, just like then. You know, I kind of made it last cycle, but, you know, I'm not made it to where I can retire and support me and my family for the next 50 years. You know, I still need to accumulate some more wealth. So I'm in this stuff. Exactly. Nobody can get mad. Oh, because I'm 13. Piss off. But nobody gets mad at me because they know I'm right there with them. I'm not dumping on them. And I've also said from day one, I will dump on you. I will get in when I want. I will literally and have been this guy. I have aped new highs. I have pushed stuff up. I have spent and lost tens of thousands of dollars just to ape stuff for the lads. Like, I'm in a project I know my homies are in. I'm going to buy some more. I'm going to ape it for the homies. You know, I pull crap like that just to be that guy. You know, it's just part of my nature, right? So, you have been dumped on me by me, and you've probably dumped on me too. And that's fine. You know, like, one of my favorite people on crypto Twitter is Messi. And that guy has dumped on me countless times. I've dumped on him. He's gotten me in some great stuff. I've gotten him into some great stuff. It's a mutual relationship, you know, but I would never go at him. If he shielded me spell, I load up 100K and then spell rugs. That's not on Messi. I'll put up the 100K. That's on me. You know, so. Anyways, I know, buddy. I'm going to feed you soon. Watch out. So, yeah, I won't spiel any more about this. I know people who follow me like, bro, you've been talking about this for weeks. We already know all about it. And people who aren't following me are just like, bro, why are you showing low caps up 1,000%? That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing that I see on Twitter now. And I get it. People do not like, and in fact will berate, accounts with any sort of following that are shilling low caps, which is just bonkers to me. I mean, I get it though. You know, influencer buys, he shills to his following of 30,000 people, they ape, influencer sells. That's why the stigma is there. Because they say they're buying, they're aping, they wait for their community and followers to buy into on their call, and then they dump on them, right? So I get why people are like, ugh, this guy's got 15,000 followers and he's shilling a 500k coin with 100k liquidity? What an asshole. Like, how would I be an asshole? I just gave a 10x, and I haven't sold I bought more. I almost quadrupled my position when I'm up 300%. I'm aping my own bags. But people, oh, why is this big account? He's shilling low caps. What a jerk. It's just such a weird, and I got my friends that say this kind of stuff. My friends that are not in this stuff, I don't know, they don't want to participate, or they just, you know, they're happy to trade in their leverage positions and stuff. And they won't say it to me, but they'll talk about big accounts shilling low caps with low liquidity. And like it's a crime. But really, the crime is this. The crime is shilling, waiting for your friends and community to buy, and then dumping on them. But I ain't doing that. So you're going to catch me shilling low caps at 15,000 followers on Twitter. You're going to catch me shilling low caps when we've got 1,000 people in Blockcircle, all the same. And I'm going to lay out the risk. I'm going to lay out that it's high risk, that I will sell when I want to sell. But I have never once, not even a single time, shilled something for the purpose of people that follow me buying so I can sell to them again. That is really messed up, and that is obviously why people don't like big accounts shilling low caps, because they'll shill it and be like, whoa, look, see, I called it, it's up 100%, and really it's like 20k volume from their people that follow them aping after them, not knowing any better. And then they dump. Influencers need to be researched the same. Oh, for sure. For sure. And I feel like at this point, you know, I've been doing this 5-6 years. Like, people know if they see me shilling something that I've got conviction, I've got reasonably diamond hands. You know, I'll still puke bottoms. I puke bottoms out the ass, guys. People like worry about their influencers dumping on them at the top. Nah, bro, I dump on at the bottom. I give people the entry, right? But yeah, absolutely. Influencer, you got to know who you're following. Like, when I follow Messi, I know this guy will dump on me if he wants to. I'll buy his dump. You know, that's how it goes. But anyways, I digress. Moving on. Clearly my favorite bag right now. I have a ridiculous amount of my crypto portfolio in this. Initially, only about 5% risk. But now, you know, that 5% is growing to a big portion of my portfolio. So, we love to see it. My next biggest bag... Hold on, is this working properly? Yeah, we're good. My next biggest bag... Oh, I have my escrow GMX. That's right below it, but I don't really consider that. I barely even consider that part of my portfolio because it's locked for a year. Next one's Ordinals. We already talked about that. Don't need to look at that again. Next up is DIKO. That's a stack swap coin. Got a big chunk of that. I think I got about 6% of the account in that. And then next up, my baby WASP. A lot of y'all forgot about this. I showed this pretty hard last summer, around 1 to 2 cents, and it has done nothing since then. And I cut it back at like 2.5. This is the FTX dump. I think I cut it during that week. And it went down, you know, like 50%, came back up 100%, and now it's sideways, and I re-entered right around 2 cents. And to me, this is one of the best consolidations I've ever seen in crypto. I mean, this is just such a clear setup for a long-term breakout. It just blows my mind. 6,000%. Consolidate for a year. Range low. 6,000%. That is unironically how I'm playing this. I'm looking for 20 to 50 cents. If you guys don't know WASP, it's a GameFi project. They've already got like 500K monthly users. You know, the fully diluted is a little bit higher than I would like. I much prefer stuff like Xerox Zero, where I'm not diluted by anybody. It's already all out there. But 25 mil is still not that bad. Also, liquidity 250K, it's not quite right. Take it with a grain of salt, because that's less than Xerox Zero. But if you ape 10K in Xerox Zero, it's going to rocket. If you ape 10K in WASP, it's barely going to move. So I think maybe the better liquidity is on USDC pair. Yeah, so there's about 600K liquidity for this one. It's decent. It's not great, but it's good enough to accumulate. And when things start to move, you don't really want this to be 5 million liquidity, because then it's going to take 100 million to send this to where you want to go. Right now, 10 million would send WASP to the freaking moon. So, definitely one of my biggest bags. I think it's kind of a no-brainer play. You just have a good average cost in the middle of this consolidation, and it either rips or you cut it if you lose a penny. You know? So, I like that one quite a lot. I got about 6% of the account in there, so my risk is right around 2 or 3%, depending on where I would cut it. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Next, USDC, MPG and Igloo. Man, you know, I'm really at war on this one, because damn, Amplify's not even on here anymore because it rugged. But my original thesis for buying MPG and Igloo is that it was made by the same dev from Amplify, and Amplify hit $30 million in a bear market. It was one of our fastest 10x's in the bear market. Called it at 20 bucks, went to 200 like 2 weeks later. I had locked mine up, so I made no profits on a 10x in 2 weeks. I was livid. And then I think, honestly, Amplify had one of the greatest narratives going for it out there. And during this USDC fiasco or whatever, they just decided that they're going to completely rebrand and revamp and restart the project. So Amplify went to zero. And of course, they're going to airdrop their new project, which they're calling Root, to all the holders. You know, everyone's going to benefit from it, blah, blah, blah. We'll see if they actually come through with that. If they come through, the thesis is back on. Amplify, aka Root, in my opinion, will be very bullish. And that should be very good. Oh, wow, nice day for MPG. Should be very good for MPG and Igloo. So I nuked out most of my MPG. I think I still hold maybe like $5,000 or something in MPG. And then I've got a bigger portion, maybe like 20 grand or something in Igloo, which is like the sister coin. 500K market cap, guys. It's a zero or hero. Either it goes to zero. I think my original risk was about 2.5% on the account or something like that, or 2% to zero. Now it's a little bit higher, but it's half open P&L, so I'm not really that worried about it. It either stays nothing forever, or it's going to make some good money. I'm not that crazy about it right now because of the whole Amplify fiasco, but I'm willing to hold some exposure just to see where it goes. But I wouldn't recommend necessarily buying this one. I think it's kind of mid compared to something like WASP or Xerox Zero. OXO. That's what I see people calling this now. OXO. Easier to say than Xerox Zero. But anyways, I digress. That's pretty much my whole portfolio. And then of course we're gonna have a nice fat Arbitrum airdrop. Which is what, like 4 or 5 days from now? So that's pretty damn exciting. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, other than that, I mean, that's pretty much all I got going on. But yeah, great stream so far. Anything else you guys want to look at? We've been going about, oh wow, hour 40 minutes. Man, these live streams start to fly. When you actually have stuff happening in crypto to talk about, these live streams fly by. Which brings me to a good point that I really appreciate you guys that tune in and stick around the whole time. Not just, you know, I don't just like hearing people, or I don't like, oh my gosh, can't speak. People just listening to me run my mouth. But I feel like there's actually some really good value in these streams. Except for Green Tea, of course. That guy just likes to meme on me. He just likes to be the meme lord. Who's the real 8-year-old here? I think it's Green Tea. Yo, Zach, I got a new guy in the stream. Well, thanks for tuning in, dude. I'm sorry you tuned in at the end if you did. If you've been watching the whole time, congrats to you. But, yeah, make sure to tune in next week, dude. 3 p.m. is usually when I stream. I had been up about 30 hours, so I took a nap beforehand, and I overslept by about 30 minutes, but usually lurking, right on, love it. Usually 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time on Sundays is when I'm going to go live. I used to do it at 4, but there's a couple other big streamers that do it at 4, and I like, you know, some people want to watch other streamers. I get it. I'm not like a bitter about it. I like to watch other streamers, so I'm trying to do 3 p.m. So people that want to watch me can watch me. People that want to watch other people can watch them when they're streaming. So 3 p.m. next week. I'll be back again. Until then, you guys can catch me on Twitter. Expect my Twitter to be toned down from here on out, because I'm really going to start to only plug stuff for the Blockcircle guys. You know, I like to plug on Twitter for the guys that don't want to pay $100 a month. There are people out there that can't afford $100 a month, but in my opinion, those guys don't really, you know, they're not going to be aping the stuff I'm aping anyways. You know, they're not, if they can't afford $100 a month to learn, then, you know, they're probably not going to be aping the stuff that I'm aping. And if they can't afford it, but they're dedicated, they're going to be able to get what they want out of my Twitter anyways. You know? People that want out of the group, bro, ain't nobody want out of the group. We don't get an insane amount of new members in Blockcircle, but our turnover is ridiculous. I mean, we have lost very few members since the start. The only time we really lost a lot of members was in the 2018-2019 bear market. I know you're mainly just memeing, but that's a fact. But anyways, $99 a month, guys, for Blockcircle. Soon, we're going to have a fully decked out investment analytics platform. It's going to be rivaling Glassnode, CryptoQuant, HighBlock, all the big guys. We're going to have stuff that no other platform offers. And it's all going to be included for the same price as regular Blockcircle membership. So, absolutely worth the value. We're extremely confident in the value offer. You're not going to see me shilling this that much, guys. I can count on one hand the number of times I've shilled my own community the last 5 years. It's very limited, right? It kind of just speaks for itself. But it won't always be that way, guys. We're going to be up in the marketing. We're going to be up in the value constantly. And a lot of the stuff that previously I've talked about on Twitter, you're not going to find. And a lot of guys that follow me on Twitter, they're still missing my big plays because they have so much noise on their feeds. Right? The big plays I'm making, they're missing out because half of their feeds just talking about, this guy said a Bitcoin's going to $1 million. Everyone's talking about $1 million. Like that's what their whole feed is. This is where you get it all in one place. Right? If you respect your trading journey, if you have the money to spend, if you're trading 5 to 10K portfolio, treat yourself. Join Blockcircle, guys. But if you don't want to do it, you can still keep up with me on Twitter. A lot of my plays are going to be on there eventually. If you ever have questions, DM me on Twitter. All that good stuff. I'm pretty active. I can get back to you really quickly. But, don't be dissuaded by Green Tea. He's not that bad. He's not bad. He's a little bit obnoxious, but he's not that bad. We do a little bit of memeing, you know. It's something we do in the chat. But anyways, I appreciate you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful start to your trading week. Blockcircle guys, I'll try to have a video update out talking about everything we've done on stream, probably on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, something like that. And yeah, should be a pretty good week. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Take care. Thanks again.